Okay, here we go. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Monday Midday Meditation. We're back Monday again, if you can believe it. It's amazing, isn't it, how the weeks, the days, the weeks, the months, even the years can tick by, and how quickly things can move, especially when we are in this very busy time of our lives. Right? I think that there is different seasons in our life where things move at different speeds. And I think that will be a little bit about the theme of today's Monday midday meditation. We're going to talk somewhat about time and seasons. And, without getting too sci-fi here, I think that we can also explore ways that we can change time or slow down time. Okay, are you with me? Sound good? All right, so let's get started. I hope by now that you've found your way into your comfortable seat. If you have been joining me here for a while, you'll know that we always start in this way, coming to a place, coming to a supported seat where you can just let the body be supported. I talked about this in my online yoga class the other day, but, for me to say, okay, relax the body, release the body, right? It can feel like it is a lot to ask. Even in this, maybe especially even with the short bit of time that we're together, you might think that it is inadequate to, release or relax. And perhaps if you think about it, from our typical ways that we consider relaxing or releasing, that would be the case. But again, if you are here not for the first time, if you've been joining me for a while, you'll know that in just a short bit of time, we can actually get a whole bunch accomplished. And that is another one of the ways that we can transform time and change time. Or maybe it's just our relationship with it. So instead of me saying, okay, relax, release, settle in, come into your body, um, you know, um, ground into your center, all of those phrases that we hear so much in, things like yoga or mindfulness. I prefer to think of it as just allowing ourselves to come into a comfortable seat so that we can then transfer the effort that it took to get here, the effort that you've been accumulating throughout the day, into your seat, into that which is supporting you. We're taking a load off. And a lot can be accomplished when we just allow ourselves to feel supported, be supported. So we start here. And if you haven't closed your eyes yet, let's close the eyes. And if you haven't already taken a few big full inhales and exhales, nice full, complete breaths, which include a nice full expansive inhale, followed by a nice long, slow, complete exhale. And you can try that a few times. It doesn't take much time at all to take a good couple full, complete breaths. It just takes maybe thinking about it or remembering it. Big full inhale, long, slow exhale. Right. So as you settle into your seat, as you start to allow yourself to be supported by that which is supporting you, taking a load off, I'm going to invite you into this contemplation. I talked a little bit about, time, and that may have piqued your interest, how we change time or change our relationship with time. But it starts in a different place. In fact, it starts right here. This place where we break the momentum, break the cycle of that which we have been doing and will, maybe continue doing later. We're interrupting that pattern. And in particular, I ask you we go through this process every week. I ask you to sit in your comfortable seat. I ask you to take a few breaths, but I also ask you to close your eyes. Because it is also during this time that not only are you stopping the activity of that which you were doing, but you are also stopping, somewhat anyway, the flow of sensory intake. The flow of sensory intake. And for most of the day, and for most of us, we take in a good chunk of our sensory related information through the eyes. When our eyes are open and of good vision, or with good vision, we are taking in all the time. We're seeing and making sense of all that is around us, not just in terms of navigating how we interact with the world, right? Watching what's in front of us, looking at the weather, watching things unfold, looking at things in front of you, averting, hazards or danger, looking at beautiful things, looking at hard things, looking at screens, all of this stuff that we are interacting with our sense of sight. And so when I ask you to close the eyes, we are interrupting that pattern, that flow. And for a very particular reason. In yoga, the yogic term, which is the yogic term of Pratyahara, sometimes translated as withdrawal of the senses. And so this opportunity that we have to kind of close the eyes is a very quick and simple practice of something like a Pratyahara. But Pratyahara, the intention of it is not to shut down everything and close down everything. Although closing the eyes, is certainly stopping the flow of sensory intake through the eyes. But you can still hear my voice. You can still smell the things around you. You're still in touch with your sense of feeling, right? Our other senses are still perhaps engaged and intact. But Pratyahara is an opportunity to kind of begin to disassociate with the intake through the senses, to stop the intake of the senses as that which is guiding us, forming decision, creating information for your inner self to process. It's like a fast. And when we fast, if we think about the food form of fasting, we stop the flow of intake of food into the body, into the digestive system. And what does that do? It's not, it's not for um, always from a restriction perspective. It is to allow for the proper digestion and for the system of digestion or the process of digestion to enter into a full cleansing period or cleansing cycle. And the same is true with this concept of pratyahara. When we withdraw from senses or disassociate from them or break the cycle um, of information with them, we enter into this period of digesting. All of that is already in there, followed by some cleansing. So we take a few breaths with our eyes closed and settle into our comfortable seat. And we may be tuning out a little bit of what's going on around us now that we've closed our eyes. You can still hear my voice, or maybe you're somewhere else. But when we do this, we initiate this Pratyahara like sequence. And again, it's not to relax or release, although that certainly is part of the cycle. But we are allowing for digestion and allowing for cleansing. And, unlike the fast related to food and the digestive system, we are talking about mental digestion. That the ceasing of all of that external stimuli allows then the nervous system to settle, to digest, the mental emotional processes to settle and digest. And it might be where you start to notice thoughts arising or bubbling up, feelings arising. You might notice an itch, right? You might notice your stomach rumbling, things you weren't necessarily aware of before you closed your eyes and did a little settling. And this is because you are now kind of attuned a little bit more to what's happening within you. And it's when we are attuned to what's happening within ourselves that some real magic happens, where we connect with that internal awareness or knowledge or intuition. And so let me get back to that concept of time, or changing your relationship with time. So think back to when you were a child and you couldn't wait to grow up, or the school year seemed to go on forever and ever, right? It seemed forever and ever until your birthday or Christmas. Time stretched out in these big expanses The 8 weeks of summer vacation, right, was like a lifetime of fun and glory. Time was different. And as we age, there's this feeling of time getting faster and faster and faster and faster. And I think in particular when we hit our 40s and 50s, even into our 60s, there is this idea that time is fast, moving at the speed of light, over in a blink. One Monday rolls into the next, 1 month rolls into the next, 1 year rolls into the next, and all of a sudden we can't believe how we got here. How does so much time go by? And there's a couple kind of more metaphysical reasons for that, I would say, but the one I want to explore with you today is that it's because in our lifetime we build this library or this repository of experiences, things to do, encounters, sensory stimuli, um, thinking, school, relationships, jobs, children, money, nature. All these experiences create within us information. And all day long and all night long, all of that is stored within us. And we are making meaning and interacting and pulling forward these memories and relating that to the thing that's happening in front of us. And we use that as kind of this knowledge or source of information that help us navigate the world. And that's, in part a great thing because that's how we grow. That's how we, become wise. But it's also one of the ways that time starts to speed up on us because we are busy. All of those ways that we make meaning of all of those things that we do and interact with create within us this cycle of doing, 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 doing. And if you're like most people, as the years go by, or the days, the weeks, the months, the years go by, we're cramming more and more and more and more and more and more and more in through the senses into our being. And it gives us even more and more and more and more and more to process as we interact and relate to the world around us. And so all of a sudden, we are busy, 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 busy all the time. And with that busyness, we lose that kind of connection with um, the uh, the paradigm of time, or we create these paradigms of time because there aren't any moments of just space. When you were a child, the days, the weeks, what felt like they were lifetimes, if you think back on them. They felt like it would go on forever. 1 week at a terrible summer camp felt like a lifetime. And that's because we had all the space around our experiences. We had all the space around the things that we did all day. And as we've gotten older and matured, there's less of that. But you can create more. And how we do that is by doing this. Finding these moments to settle in, to close the eyes, to take a few nice full breaths, to initiate that withdrawal of the senses so that we create the opportunity for deeper inner awareness. And this is how you change time. And it can happen in a moment or 20 moments as we've spent together here today. But you can practice this anytime, anywhere. And if you are feeling like you need more hours in the day, you need more time, the very best thing you can do is create a bit of space. So as we wrap up today's Monday midday meditation, I invite you to take a bit more space. Settle, be supported in your comfortable chair, comfortable seat. Continue with the eyes closed. Another 5 minutes or so will create a world of difference and will give you back time. And so until next time, my friends, thank you for joining. Namaste.